Hello, everybody, and welcome to Citrus Quest. As always, I am your wonderful host, Ichabod Orange, and of course, with us we have my lovely co-host, Miss Steam. Miss Steam, you with us?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Absolutely wonderful. Today we have actually dropped the line to somebody who was talking on Facebook the other day that I noticed come on. Somebody from Boom Comics. So we'll be doing an interview with the current proprietor of Boom Comics once they basically access the link and come on it. And his name.
What's up, man?
Oh.
Hello, Mike, right?
Yeah.
Mike, I'm Ichabod. I'm the host of the show, and here's my co-host, Miss Steam.
Hey.
It's,
How are you guys?
doing pretty good.
How's that
how you
audio,
doing?
man?
Huh?
How's that audio? Can you hear me real well or no?
Oh yeah, you're coming through fine.
That's cool because I just had to plug all this stuff back in. My
Oh,
kids
yeah.
run off with my microphone and my camera all the time.
Oh yeah, that's not a problem at all. So, are you ready to get started, or do you want a few minutes to just chit chat?
No, I should be ready, man. I don't think I really need anything. Light a cigar, maybe.
Fair enough. All right. So, as you know, and as a couple of our viewers know, you've opened up a shop in Lawrence. It's apparently got some sort of controversial backstory. Care to go into it? Figure out what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, I can give you a little bit. Unfortunately, when you talk about backstory, you're talking about before me. So the claim is by any number of people that I don't know who they are and haven't actually presented any real actual evidence that the previous owner owes them money, that he's a bad dealer. I mean, you know, things that ultimately just don't have anything to do with me. And it's kind of interesting to see what has happened just since announcing that I had taken over the business and not even taken over the business. I actually own my own company. It's a completely different company. It has nothing to do with the previous owner. He's not around as far as making any business decisions or anything like that. So it's weird to see what's happening with the response to it. A lot of people are claiming, oh, it's some manipulation by the original owner to make it look like he doesn't own the company anymore, because apparently he's tried that before. So I don't know.
Jesus. So it's basically kind of a bit of a cluster because the older guy apparently had like a shady past somewhat.
Yeah.
It's kind of leaked over into the new stuff.
Yeah, no question about it. And I suppose that most people, well, not most people, I mean, anybody concerned in this respect has probably seen what's going on the web page. And so it was really my intent when I set out initially to make it to put a separation between the new company and the old company. And I kind of stormed, if you will, right into that, and just dove right in and purposely set out to create a buzz to change the narrative off of this previous owner and the things that he's done, and move on to a new regime and do things better, bigger.
Just kind of improve on what was already there and just cast out the old crap, right?
Yeah, the good stuff that worked, which was obviously servicing customers, getting them their comic books, getting them their toys, getting them their games, all the things that we do there. So, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Well, recently, Wizards of the Coast is having a lot of problems. It's taken several hits to the fan base because there's this group of them that want this whole inclusivity. Being overly sensitive behavior about every little comment. Do you think that's going to affect business for Wizards or for your shop in general?
Well, it's an interesting thing to talk about because this is one of those things that's been going on in other industries for a while now. The video game industry has been dealing with it for a few years, and now it's finally crept its way into board gaming and Magic the Gathering, like you're saying, and it's this same new viral political correctness it's destroying literally everything we do. It's led by, if you will, I don't necessarily want to get into political stuff because I'm an apolitical person. I don't do it myself, but we're talking about a leftist invasion of political correctness. And it's no better on the right. Don't get me wrong. Socialism is socialism, no matter which boot is stepping on your throat. And it's ushering in a new era of the state being the decider in social memes, in social mores, and in interactions between individuals who didn't invite a third party into it.
Yeah. So it's kind of like this whole thing of, you'd rather the game be left to the game and not drag all this political crap into it.
Well, yeah, because what happens is you get the state, the politics. There, it's a disinterested third party in the sense that it has nothing to lose backing either side, except it has something to gain as you march towards a socialist communal type society. Not that there's anything wrong with those things in a voluntary sense. I don't care about anybody who voluntarily interacts with another adult who voluntarily interacts with that person. You guys want to do what you want to do, fine. Don't involve people who don't want to be involved. And that's what happens with the state. The state forces involvement. It's actually interesting because there's this situation, this separation between private businesses and the state that is confused in all of these arguments. For some reason, some people seem to think that it's not okay for a private business to act like it's an actual person. And yet we got, what is the law? Citizens United, where companies are business, companies are people. Well, companies really are people. My company, the all new Boom Comics, Storm Holdings LLC, is me. It's absolutely 100% me, my wife, and the people that come into the store. These are real people. We're not imaginary. We're not nameless and faceless. You can put a name and a face to us. All you have to do is come into the store and see us. We're right there. I
think the problem is a lot of people, when they see a company, they only see this big tyrannical thing when actually it is owned by people. So people just tend to forget that, hey, this is someone's business, someone's life.
No, absolutely right. And it's what's led to this entire conversation. I think that it's the political correctness. It is destroying Magic the Gathering. I don't think that it'll probably ever hurt them until there's a parallel system. And I'm not entirely sure why in 25 years there really hasn't become an unofficial tournament system, something parallel to it that the people created on their own. I mean, I guess it's because it's just so big. It's so popular. It's been around for so long that everybody just wants to do the thing with them.
Yeah, it's kind of become a beast.
Well, a beast.
I'm sure, I'm sure at least I know a couple of people who have received what's called a DCI ban.
Yes.
These kind of gamers, a lot of them, some of them can be problematic, but some others just genuinely want to play the game. Are they welcome in Boom Comics to come in and purchase their product? Maybe not necessarily engage in tournament play, but just to buy their equipment there?
Yeah, generally speaking, anybody is welcome into my show. And if you want to talk about, or into my show, sorry, I used to do this too. So anybody is welcome into the store. I don't need thieves. I don't need liars. I don't need people who are going to cause problems. But somebody's opinion about somebody's opinion is none of my business. And I mean, if you want to talk specifically, you want to talk about Jeremy. I went and looked at what's happened to him, and frankly, I think it sucks. It's BS. I don't know every single detail, but I get it, having been there, not only in this situation now with what's actually going on the Facebook page for the comic book shop, but previously. I've been an activist for a number of years, and the vitriol, the hatred, the venom, it is sickening, and it's really funny because, like I said, I planned this whole thing out to get attention, to literally take attention away from the previous owner. And boy, did it it exploded. We've had tens of thousands of between the hits and the comments and everything in the last few days. And that's blown away any activity that has ever happened on the website before. And it's all because of these people who don't just know how to mind their own damn business and keep scrolling when they see something that offends them.
It is easy to weaponize the people getting offended, and it's getting easier. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that you're going to get a lot of negative eyesight on it, but you're also going to get those people who come in and got a positive eye look. Yeah, and they're going to come in there and be like, "Yeah, dude, no, I'm going to shop at this store. Why the hell would I give a crap now that I know it's there?"
And that's kind of funny because there's a lot of people that don't, especially since the move, and they drop in. But realistically, the first day this all started, I don't know, like the 23rd, I guess it was when I first started, when I really took over is what it is, when Matt finally stepped aside and was done with everything. And I started making the post to the Facebook page. It was obvious from the get-go exactly what was going to happen and where it would end up. And people have come into the store every day since that day and said, yep, saw it online. Yep, congratulations that you've taken it over. I hope that you can do better with it. Well, yeah, you bet. Because the first thing I'm going to do is not make promises I can't keep. That's just something I don't do. Yeah.
All right. So, in with the magic thing, because this is actually one of the important things that I wanted to discuss. Have you heard about the recent controversy with a number of Magic the Gathering judges within the Magic Judging Society having been ousted as sex offenders?
I have heard about that, and it's another one of those things that apparently has plagued Jeremy because, I mean, again, having been an activist and being politically aware, even though I don't participate in politics, I know about what's going on. I understand that the world elite, if you want to call them that, they're certainly not elite by the definition of the word, but these 1%ers, this small percentage of the population who tries to manipulate society through political means, does it because it grabs power, and power attracts a certain corruption. And if you want to talk about it, it goes all the way back, at least in our time, in a modern sense, to Boys Town and President Bush, the first Bush, and all of this this cover up that developed through the Clinton era with the Pizzagate that's come on up through and finally been exposed here in recent years. There is a concerted effort by some number of people within a community to protect sexual predators and allow them access to children. And of course, any place you find children, a place like Magic, a place like Pokemon, a place like a game store, it's going to attract a certain element. Apparently, there seems to be some math, some matrix that says it's so. And it's kind of a scary thought that there's a cover up. I mean, there really is. There's a concerted effort out there to demonize people who are talking about it. There's a concerted effort out there to normalize the behavior. And there's a thin line between sort of fantasy and reality. And I think that they've crossed it.
Yeah. Miss Steam here, my co-host, actually had a run-in with a YouTube group that was trying to normalize pedophilia by attaching it to the LGBT movement. They were called Progress.
I missed that last part.
Yeah, you roboted.
Heart Progress, both people.
Okay.
Yeah, it started with a bit of an argument between me and a YouTuber, Omnipolitics, and it just blew up after that. And speaking with pedophiles, I can kind of understand why. I'm not saying it's right at all, but I can understand why they think that way. That makes sense.
No, it absolutely does. And you have to tread a very thin line when you start sort of justifying the behaviors of it. And it's not even justifying the behaviors. It's understanding that there is a thing, that there's something here, that this is some sort of reality. And that while it needs to be acknowledged, you've got to be very careful because we're talking about young, innocent people here who are not capable of making making important decisions, long lifetime decisions about what they do with their bodies and what they allow someone else to do with their bodies. Certainly when we talk about much, much younger thing. Yeah, it's unbelievably scary what can happen. But it's also kind of interesting that if you look into the facts about these things, it's like kidnapping, it's like abuse of any other kind. It's almost always done by and sanctioned by somebody that somebody knows, you know?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
majority of assaults is usually by a friend,
Yeah.
a family friend or a family member,
Yeah.
more than a stranger these days.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the case. And so while I think it's valid to be concerned, I certainly think that without, and this is true of anything, again, going back to voluntary interactions between adults, any person that has never actually been accused and ultimately even convicted of committing a crime should actually be left alone. You know, I until you can actually prove that somebody has actually done something to someone else or to their property, it's conjecture, it's opinion about opinion. It's I think, therefore it must be true, which is the reactionary responses that you get from the social media crowd and the social justice warriors. There's the term that hasn't come up yet, but this is who we're talking about.
Yeah, they tend to have a they tend to have a problem to they want to take things as face value and they don't want to look further into it, most because most people are lazy.
It's true. Yeah, no, if there's anything that I can do, and there is, because I'm there every single day and I certainly don't encourage anything, if there's anything that I can do to make my environment for my players and the people that come into my store safe, I will absolutely do it. And I tell you what, children are in my store every day. There are children in my store playing games, trading cards, especially Pokemon. They love to play the Pokemon. Most of the people who play Magic are adults. I really don't run into that many children that play it.
I still have the Pokemon cards.
What's that?
I still have the Pokemon cards.
So when it comes to precautions to be taken, like tournaments that happen at the Dungeons and Dragons stuff, you gonna make sure that there's like background checks for any judges or people who are gonna have like adults that have contact with the children. Make sure that they're not like on the sex offender registry, anything like that.
Yeah, you know, it's actually, boy, it's an interesting question. I mean, it should be fairly easy to do, to be able to check on that. Yeah, I mean, anybody who comes to me and wants to be in my store and wants to be around children, yeah, I don't know why they couldn't submit to some kind of background check. I mean, I know you can use Intellis or somebody like that to do a complete background check on somebody, as well as the sexual offenders registry database. So yeah, if that becomes an issue where there's somebody that I don't know that is in contact with kids, yeah, I don't see why not. In reference to specific tournament play and things like that are sanctioned by Wizards, boy, I guess we're talking about Wizards. We're talking about D&D. We're talking about Magic. So I mean, it's them. I think if those people are sanctioned by their process, then they should probably be vetted by their process, and that information should be made available publicly to anyone that those people are going to come in contact with. A little bit of transparency, I think, on the part of Wizards solves this problem for the most part. I mean, the ability for us to police everybody who walks in the door, pretty difficult.
I'm talking about like for specific tournament like that, just have run them, because from what I've heard from Jeremy, Wizards isn't backgrounding these people, and there's Magic judges come back as sexual predators and pedophiles.
Yeah,
So
and that's pretty scary that they're not doing, and that was why I said that, because it does seem like that based on what everything that I've seen, and I will tell you that is not that much. I've only recently dove in. I've only been playing Magic the Gathering myself for 3 years. I finally broke down in 2015 and started playing digitally, taught myself how to play. And so I'm really catching up on the community, and it's kind of fun finding yourself and people like Jeremy within the community that are actually out here trying to talk a little bit of truth and actually try to do the community some good and be honest and straightforward with what's happening within it. And it's honest in what's happening everywhere in America. I mean, there's not any place that this isn't going on where you find people who are not good people. And I, for one, am happy to keep those people at a distance and keep them away from my store. But in relation to like a Jeremy's welcome in my store anytime. People, again, who are banned for opinion, for speaking their mind, these are friends of mine as far as I'm concerned. I didn't know who Jeremy was before you contacted me and mentioned this particular topic. So I went and did my research, and I went and watched some of his shows. I went all the way back and watched some early stuff, and I jumped forward and I watched some of the current stuff. And there's nothing that I found offensive in anything that he was talking about. He seemed to be straightforward, very honest about what was going on. And I think that maybe, possibly based on this pedophilia thing, that there's a little bit of vindictive action going on in there. It sure seems like what he was accused of participating in with this costume girl sounds like that whole thing was a ruse, and that they just did that to stir up the pot, not unlike I've done on the page on the comic on the Boom site.
Yeah, they were looking for an excuse.
Yeah,
no, he's good people. But on to the stuff about the store. Is there any specific rules that somebody should follow if they do come in the store that they need to know about?
Man, there's always, okay, of course, if we're talking about something that's a sanctioned event, you got MTG rules. That's it. You got to follow them. Otherwise, you take your chances with DCI. You take your chances with losing your accounts, losing tens of thousands of dollars. If you happen to be playing digitally, yeah, we know what's going on here. So, of course, you're going to have to follow what they say. You're just going to have to find another way to play. As far as my store, code of conduct is real simple. You do not touch another person ever, unless you're invited to do so. Arguments, fine. Arguments that cause other people problem, not fine. And, if your argument is carrying over and it's somebody else's game, it's interfering with them, we got a problem. I'm going to ask you to step out, clear it up. It really comes down to this for me in every single facet of my life, and this includes my business. Voluntary interaction. As long as the people that are there agree that certain behaviors and certain things are acceptable, and they agree together, and they're not involving people who don't agree, I'm not going to have a problem with what's going on. Physical damage, doxing somebody. If you want, I suppose we need to talk about this internet thing, because I have kicked some people out of the store, and maybe that's what, and it's not even maybe. This is absolutely a fact, that part of the reason that there has been such a backlash is because there are a couple of people within this particular community who I have said cannot come back into the store. But this doesn't have anything to do with anything but my actually knowing these people, whether they've admitted it online. I know who JC is. I've dealt with him for a number of years now. As long as Boom has been open and he's worked there and been coming into the store, I know who he is. Even if he didn't know who I was or pretended he didn't know who I was, ask him who the guy with the gun every day on his hip was who came into the store to shop for comics. There was only one of me. He knows who I am. And it's the same with some of these other characters out there, these former employees of the store. These people are not welcome in the store for a reason. And it isn't about my opinion about somebody else's opinion. It's about their actual actions within the community and the reputation that they have developed in front of my eyes. That's why they're not welcome in the store.
Or that actually brings up another thing. Is your store open carry?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. No
Okay.
question about it.
Cool.
Yeah. I 100% support the right to individual self-defense, and that begins with being able to carry a firearm on your person. There, I
wish
don't
I could
have
do that.
one. I'm waiting for it to arrive, but there will be a green gun sticker on the door, and that may be a problem for some of the we'll just call them visitors to LFK. And if you don't know what LFK, it's Lawrence fucking Kansas. Apparently, I didn't know
We
and
call them
offended some people.
snowflakes.
Yeah. So,
Those little bastards.
yeah. Some of the visitors to LFK may be offended by it, but the majority of people in Kansas are people who also believe in the right to self-defense, and they're not scared of guns.
I wish my country would do that.
I do too. I wish they would too. I'm a fan. I've actually been there. I spent a couple of weeks in the just before September 11th, actually, and I came back into the country with a bunch of small electronic devices on me, and I got flagged. And ever since 9/11, I cannot get on a flight without. They're searching my luggage. They're sending me through. Yeah. I wish the world would get it, and I'm afraid that America is actually on the verge again. This socialist, the very political correct streak that's running through right now. It's been done in other countries before. It's interesting. There's a particular girl who was out. Just a quick side, and then we'll jump back. There was a particular girl who hit the news yesterday. I remember her name, but she's one of these scary militant women. In the green, the socialist gear, and she's got a communist, a Cuban flag on her shoulder, and she's gay, and she's talking about gay rights and talking about socialism and communism and how great these things are for people, and I'm just like, my God, girl, pick up a history book. Cuba, Castro, they were famous for attacking the gays, not in just a social way, but physically, literally attacking them. And so it would be funny if it were not so sad and it did not portend a future for America that leaves the people in the position that the people under Pol Pot were, that the people under Hitler in the ghetto were. It's been repeated throughout history. The people in Cuba, when the socialists take over, they take your guns, they destroy the people, and then nothing, it doesn't ever turn back from that point. So, and anyway, I don't want to beleaguer the point, but it's all relevant, unfortunately. It's all part of the same argument that these people are trying to make, and it's scary if you understand history.
Yeah, it is scary. At the moment, England's going through a point where we can self-defend ourselves, but we can't hit the attacker too hard, otherwise it's assault. It's so stupid.
Oh my. In reference to that, I've carried a gun, well, let's just say for a long time. And in the state of Colorado one day, a guy road raged myself and my young son on the highway, and he stopped his car in the middle of the road when I pulled over to wave him by, and he jumps out of his truck and he comes right at me. My boy's sitting right behind me in the seat on the driver's side. Traffic can't even sort of get around the guy. He's got the road completely blocked off. And of course I have my pistol. So I pull out my pistol. I always have my pistol. It's this exact same pistol that I'm holding right now, and that I've been carrying for a number of years. And I just held it up. I didn't point it at him. I didn't threaten it with him or anything. I just held it up. You need to get back in your truck. You're about to make a huge mistake. Put it back down. So 7 months later, $5,000 later, 7 appearances in a courtroom for a crime that didn't actually happen because no crime was committed. I basically learned that what I should have done is shot the stupid son of a bitch so he was dead right there at the door of my car, and there wouldn't have been anybody to lie and fabricate a story and get me in trouble, which I was ultimately exonerated of, given my gun back.
Yeah.
So I definitely sympathize with what is going on in this you gotta back off approach that they see. It seems to have all developed out of Florida and that whole fiasco down there with the stand your ground law and yeah.
Well, we're down to the last couple of things. Is anything else you want to talk about?
I could do this all day. Seriously, I could do this all day. I do have teeth. I got a little bit of a gap. That picture that's on the website, it looks like I don't. That's the dog that I don't kick. My twice rescued puppy, Daisy.
It's adorable.
She's a sweetheart. She's just the loveliest, sweetest little thing, and we're very happy to have her. And to all the people who don't get jokes, I guess I have to say it because
get jokes, people.
Take a joke, people. Seriously, and my God, man, get a life.
Yeah, seriously.
Crap. This is the biggest, so now the most recent thing to come out of it was a woman. I don't pay attention to it. The way I win this is I don't go back and I don't get brought into the fray. I let them fight themselves. But every once in a while, I drop a little comment in there and just a little mic drop or a little pin drop to see if anybody's listening and paying attention. And the latest one was one of these girls. She come to me and she says, you're a misogynist and a Nazi because another guy called me a cunt. Did you see that?
Yeah, no, I saw that one. Yeah, sure. You seem like such a fucking misogynist.
Yeah. No, I hate women. I have 3 daughters. I have a wife of 22 years. I mean, yeah, it's terrible. I'm the worst.
That's fine. I've seen people literally telling a black girl she's a white supremacist.
What? Oh my!
Actual thing I saw.
Wait, I mean, and they could tell she was a black girl. I mean, the lunacy of what happens on the internet and these people that think they're so important. Trust me, I have no delusions. I have friends that are important. I don't know if you drop by my personal page. Drop by my personal page, friend me. I'd be glad to have you as a friend on the page. And my page is open to anyone. You won't like it if you're a leftist or a socialist. If you are, you probably won't like it if you're a Trump supporter. In fact, but that's because I don't have any use for sort of third party in my life that doesn't benefit me in any way and actually robs me at gunpoint every chance it gets and threatens me with jail and even death if I don't pay them so that they can have their little wars and play their little games that they play. I don't care about this silliness, this craziness that these people are involved in, except for the fact that it gets so crazy, and there are people out there that have the tools to be able to hunt someone down and make their life a little bit of a hell. So so far, knock on wood, it hasn't gotten particularly personal. I've only had one person actually redneck me. It happened the day before yesterday. I shit you not. You are not from around here, boy. I'm not joking. I swear to God, I will send you a copy of the text. I'm not fucking kidding. He's the first person who brought me the LFK thing. So there you go.
Oh yes, we definitely want to see that.
Oh, I will. I'll send it to you. Friend me on Facebook. It's Michael Storm, and you'll be able to tell it's me. My picture's up there.
Yeah.
Damn, Facebook.
And I would really like to say thank you. I really appreciate you having me on the show. It's really cool what you're doing. My kids love the hell out of the whole internet commentary thing. I'm one of these people that I've spent a lot of years forming my opinion about the world. So I don't necessarily go looking for other people's opinions, but I love watching you guys play some games and stuff and just bullshit. I was watching you guys play somebody else. I don't know who it was. One of your more recent videos, the citrus thing.
Oh, Arcater, actually.
Yeah.
Lethal League.
Yeah, Dark
Dump my ass too, damn it.
Yeah, I saw that. I couldn't figure out exactly what was going on in the game at first, but that looks like a really cool game. Kind of almost on-like, where you're kind of throwing a ball at someone and somebody can still fight. It was real. I didn't catch the ball part of it for a while, and there'd be every once in a while it looked like you were just kicking the crap out of him, like up front, and he'd chase you to the other side of the page, and like there'd be a glitch or something that'd come back and you're dead. And I'm like, what the hell just happened? And then I finally saw the ball bouncing around, and I'm like, oh, it's like coming from back behind him or something and getting him.
I absolutely loved watching it because Iqbal was going on about, oh, I'm so good at this game, and I'm like,
okay, no, anybody but freaking Arcater, and I would have won that. Damn it!
That's awesome. Seriously, anytime, guys, I'd love to come on and talk about this or any of the other things that you guys are into. It's really cool what you're doing, and I wish you the best of luck. And I will be sharing this as soon as you get it. I will share it with my it's 800 something up front, but you know, when I mentioned it before, the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, I'm a phone call from Paul Joseph Watson. I'm a phone call from Alex Jones. I've run in those same circles for years. You know, all this sort of the libertarian, the small L libertarian view, not the capital L's. Although I did campaign for Dr. Paul in 2012. Yeah.
You might check out the what are they calling themselves now? What's DAPS calling his network now, Steam?
The
Liberty Network, something like that.
Yeah, Liberty
He
Network.
used to go by Mr. Dapperton, but you know, him and the other ANCAP's pretty darn close to that. I can actually pull
Liberty Network. And
hang
what
on.
was
Yeah,
his name?
Mr. Dapperton is the one I'm talking about. I just have to actually find.
I could probably find it actually because I'm subscribed to them.
The Liberty Network. Here, I can actually here up in the side. You notice there's a side chat there. There's the YouTube channel. You actually might get a kick out of him.
Oh yeah,
Dapperton's pretty. He's a libertarian, so.
Yeah.
Oh, Liberty Network. Okay.
Yeah. Good people.
The people that go on there are very, very nice.
David Hogg says you're a child killer. Apparently, he means me. That's great. Yeah, I'll check that out for sure. That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm always looking for new connections, and I have to make sure that I get all you guys shared here on the Facebook page, and you'll be making some new friends for sure.
Fair enough. Well, anything else, Steam? Anything else you want to say?
Not really. Sorry.
That's all right. Thank you guys again. Thank you so much. And like I said, anytime.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been the new proprietor of Boom Comics, Mr. Michael Storm. If you're in the Lawrence, Kansas area, feel free to go check him out at Boom Comics. I have been Ichabod. This, as always, is my lovely co-host, Miss Steam. I've got raccoon shit to do. I will see you guys next time.